Hello, and welcome to Battle of the Beasts All Generation, episode number 138. I'm Adam, and today we got two more beasts fighting out for a spot in round 5. Oh my god, round 5. That is a big tournament, and fights for a spot in the top 10. Oh, we're almost there, guys. We're almost at the end of this tournament, which has been a year, maybe two, in the making. Holy God. Yeah, I wasn't actually going to swear. I try not to swear on the channel. I'm aware I have sworn before, and I find it hilarious that in one of my videos, I believe it's a Linksy Series 8 review, I was like, I'm trying not to swear on this channel, trying to keep it friendly, child-friendly, and then I just called a character a son of a... 5 minutes later. I personally find it hilarious. So... Oops. But I'm trying not to swear here, so yeah. Let's see how long that lasts. So with that, battle number 138, third battle of round 4, and let's introduce the beasts. With representing Series 6, the World of Chaos, the last beast standing of that series, we have book number 6, Vespick, the Wasp Queen, versus the very big number specials. Don't remember what number this special is. Special number 12, I think. Had a relatively easy ride up to this point. It is Anoret, the first beast. So, with that, Vespick versus Anoret. Interesting matchup, I guess. Not the most exciting, I'm afraid, but yeah, it's alright. Going straight to the stats, we have Vespick first. Vespick's armor-plated body is twice as tall as a man's, and her wings give her terrifying speed and agility. She is armed with 6 brutal hooked claws and a stinger, which oozes a deadly green venom. One drop will instantly kill her prey. Worst of all, Vespick has an army of wasps at her command. They swarm around her victims, weakening them with excruciating stings. Age 285, power 253, magic level 173, fight factor 83, size 127. Powers and abilities: insect manipulation, skilled fighter, flight and deflection, venom manipulation, natural armor, and natural weaponry. Minions are wasps. Weaknesses: water weakness and wing removal. Moving on to Anoret, the first beast now. It is believed that this lizard-like creature was the very first to rampage through the kingdom of Avantia. Long ago, a warlord stole the beast's face and wore it as a mask, the Mask of Death, giving himself the power to control Anoret. Hundreds of years after this epic battle, Kenza, the witch, sought to use the mask to control not only the first beast, but 6 young and innocent beasts as well. Age 500 plus. Power 296. Magic level 195. Fright factor 98. Size 460. Powers and abilities: enhanced strength, enhanced durability, natural weaponry, beast control. We can't do that. And resurrection. Okay, we'll give Anoret some Varkules. Okay, we'll give Anoret some Varkules. Okay, I'll give her that. Weaknesses: loyalty to the Mask of Death. Okay. So with that, we have this. We're going to go with a nice plains arena here. No, rocky terrain. Come on, we got to go with rocky terrain. Okay, with that, let's get into the battle. As the chamber doors open, Anoret bursts through the chamber with his Varkules at his command, with her Varkules at command, 4 Varkules, and gets to the center of the arena and roars into the arena. All she hears is a faint buzzing sound that grows louder and angrier and louder and louder, and suddenly, through the sky exit on the opposite side of the arena, a tornado swarm of insects or wasps emerge, and it comes down. The tornado lands on the battlefield in front of Anoret. And as the tornado continues where it is, out of it comes Vespick. Vespick looks at Anoret in the eyes and says, You may be the ancestors of us, but you are not going to be the beater. You're not going to be the one that beats me, though. Anoret roars at Vespick and charges straight towards her. Vespick instantly takes to the sky with her wasps, continuing the tornado formation. As the tornado formation makes its way towards Anoret, Anoret slices at it, but doesn't seem to do much because there are millions of wasps. And she gets stung by the wasp before she backs away, and sends her Varkules to take care of the wasps. They all charge into the tornado, and Vespick dives into the tornado and stings each of the Varkules with her venomous stinger. And then using her keen fighting skills, she uppercuts them with her claws or kicks them out of the tornado as they land on or get slammed into the walls of the arena or rock. And they get back up, make their way back to Anoret very weakly. And as Anoret's staring at this tornado as it dissipates and the swarm just flies above the battlefield, covering the blue sky into darkness. With Vespick standing on the walls of the arena, she stares at Anoret and the Varkules. As Anoret's about to charge, Anoret notices that her Varkules are all falling one by one, dead. Anoret roars at Vespick in frustration and charges straight towards her, getting ready to pounce, jumps, actually gets onto the wall and charges towards Vespick as Vespick charges towards Anoret, and right before they're about to collide, Vespick jumps and goes into the swarm as the swarm piles down directly towards Anoret. Anoret jumps down onto the arena floor, and using her tail, she slams it into the ground, causing a dust cloud to emerge, pushing the swarm backwards, revealing Vespick. Vespick, caught off guard by this, is greeted by Anoret charging up to her, raising her claw and slashes at Vespick's chest. Vespick gets knocked back but doesn't land on her back, using her wings as balance, and charges towards Anoret, calling forward her swarm to disorientate her. As the swarm covers Anoret's face, Anoret is trying to kick up dust clouds, trying to cause the swarm to go away. But they're being persistent and annoying, stinging at her scales, which doesn't seem to be doing much. And during that time, while she's trying to fight them out, Vespick carefully works her way through the swarm and gets up to Anoret's eyes and scratches each one out. Anoret roars in pain and then slams her claws and her tail into the ground, causing a dust cloud to appear all around her, pushing the swarm backwards. Anoret, being completely blinded now, knows that she has to rely on her senses to prevail. Vespick just stands on a nearby rock and just, as quietly as she can, just stares at Anoret. As Anoret's trying to get used to her surroundings, not being able to see. Vespick decides to test something. She sends one wasp down buzzing behind Anoret. Anoret instantly turns around and bites down onto that wasp. Vespick realizes that Anoret's hearing is quite good for an old gal. She then calls her entire wasps swarm down to cause a buzzing sound everywhere Anoret is. Anoret is trying to focus, trying to listen for the louder buzzing. And Vespick makes her way towards Anoret, charging straight towards her, and goes to kick her in the face, knocking her to the side. Anoret gets back up, growling, and Vespick charges up again, this time uppercutting her, stabbing her claws into her neck. Anoret jumps onto her hind legs and pushes Vespick back. Vespick roaring, laughing, almost like she's playing with Anoret, whilst Anoret's roaring in anger. Vespick goes to charge up towards Anoret again, but Anoret listens to the louder buzzing, and she whips her tail around and knocks Vespick back. Vespick, caught off guard by this, realizes that she needs to increase the loudness and also weaken her hearing. She calls the wasps to shroud Anoret completely and go into her ears, trying to sting it there. And Vespick charges up and goes to slice at each of her ears, causing her hearing to be completely useless. In the meanwhile, she also slices at Anoret's neck as blood starts gushing out. Anoret roars in pain and charges towards a rock, shattering it and smashes the ground around her, causing a dust cloud to push the wasps back again. And Vespick charges up towards Anoret by herself and pins her down as she slices at Anoret's wrists, at the tendons really, causing movement in the wrists to be harder or impossible. Vespick, pinning Anoret down, goes to slice at Anoret's neck again to open the wound even more, but she's stopped by a tail wrapped around her wrist. The tail pulls her arm back, pulling her backwards as well. Vespick lifts up her other claw to stab at the tail, and by the time she does that and the tail gets off her, Anoret's already back up and bites down onto Vespick, biting onto her left arm. Vespick screeches in pain as she stabs her claws into Anoret's neck and pulls out as much blood and tears open the gash as much as she can. As the blood is pouring out, Anoret's grip only tightened onto Vespick. Vespick realizes what she needs to do to get safely away from this beast before Anoret kills her. Vespick then braces herself and pushes herself into the beast backwards, snapping her arm, and using her claws, she slashes her arm free right before Anoret slices her claws at Vespick. Vespick's able to get away, bleeding out from the wound that she just created on herself, and calls her wasps down towards Anoret, and commanding her wasps to go inside of Anoret's open wound, through her mouth, through her ears, everywhere, as they crawl around inside of her, stinging at her insides, her heart, her lungs, her liver, everywhere inside of her. Anoret's roaring in excruciating pain, as Vespick's keeping her wound up, trying to prevent as much blood from coming out of her as possible. Vespick says to Anoret, unsure if Anoret can hear her, says, You made me break my own arm for this, and I'm making sure you die in the most excruciating way possible. You may be our elder, but you have no respect of mine. She makes her way back to her chamber as Anoret is roaring and screeching in pain, and eventually slumps down, succumbing to her wounds. As the wasps emerge from the open gash wound and her mouth, they make their way back to the chamber with Vespick, still with her arm in the air. And with that, Vespick has won, Anoret has lost. If you think Anoret should win, please and constable, I think that how my words final and Vespick's moving on to the next round. Right, I gave Vespick the victory because now, one, Vespick's fighting skills is impressive. Her speed is also great, so that's two great combinations. Anoret may be bulkier, more powerful, but if she gets overwhelmed by Vespick, then that's done. Not to mention, Anoret's hearing is not fully hyped up as Lycax's, let's say, because Anoret isn't blind. But when she is blind, she has to suddenly start relying on her hearing. So that is one negative there. When Vespick got to her eyes, Anoret was already at a disadvantage. Yes, Anoret has big, sharp, imposing claws, but if Vespick's speed and the use of Wasp disorientating Anoret, there wasn't much that Anoret could really do. And then so on and so forth. Fast forward to that, I do see a way in which Vespick did win. And I can see Anoret winning just as much as Vespick, but I gave the victory to Vespick. Whilst the win odds of them can be relatively equal, I gave the win to Vespick because I feel Vespick actually deserved the win more. And this is just going at looking at their previous victories. Anoret's victories seemed quite effortless and easy, whilst Vespick fought her way here. And I feel that Vespick did deserve this spot in round 5 more than Anoret did. But it also goes to show that this was, I would say, this was a good battle as well, which gave Anoret, a beast which is arguably my least favorite of the top 20 here, some recognition and justice. So I'm not going to say I didn't do her justice, because I feel I did. But with that, Vespick moves on to the next round. And with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.